Hey everyone, my name's Chad, and today I want to talk to you about something that 99% of small businesses get wrong. Yeah, that's right, 99%. At least the businesses that I've been talking to, and I work with a lot of small businesses, and here's the thing. Most of them have no idea who their target market is or what the niche is that they serve. When I meet with a new business client, I'll always ask them, "Do you know who your target market is? Who are your customers?" And they'll always answer, "Oh yes, we know who our customers are. We know our customers very well." But here's what I find is that when I ask them to describe their customers, like who buys their products or services, they always say, "Well, it's a wide range of people. There's a wide variety of people." And so when we're discussing how to develop a marketing plan, they always want a marketing plan that's going to reach everyone. They want to get their message out to as wide an audience as possible because they believe that's who their target market is. But what I have found is that that is never the case. In fact, if you are trying to market to a wide audience, to a broad niche, to a broad market, you are going to waste a lot of money on your marketing. And here's why. There's really three reasons why this is so important. And the first is that people don't identify with generalities, we identify with specifics. Every day we've got messages coming at us from all directions, from social media, the news, our cell phones, our emails, family, friends. There's all kinds of information coming at us. And so our brains are constantly working to filter out that information, constantly trying to figure out what information is relevant to me that's going to help me survive and thrive in this particular day. And if you are not speaking specifics, if you are not speaking specifically, then those generalities are going to get filtered out as it's probably not something that is related to me. That's relevant to my life. Specifics make you hyper relevant. And so when you are trying to market your products and services, you have to call out your particular market. You have to be able to identify who that market is. So here's the second reason. As a small business, you likely don't have the budget to market your products or services to everyone. You probably have a budget that's going to be able to reach some people. So you might as well identify who those people are so that you can get your message in front of them, and you'll have a much greater chance of having success in your marketing by calling out and talking to the target market who is best suited for your products or services. The final thing is that specialists are sought out and can charge higher prices. And so if you are viewed as a specialist, as an expert in your marketplace, people will seek you out and you'll be able to charge those higher prices. So I'm going to share my screen so that we can take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So how can you go from being a generalist in your marketing to being hyper relevant and specific? So look, this is where we're at today. This is the market that you could potentially serve with your products and services. And, everyone in here are people that could potentially use your products and services. And so you see this and you say, I don't want to alienate any of these people. And I get it. You're trying to grow a business and you don't want to alienate any potential customers, any potential business. So you want to create a marketing message that is going to reach all of these people. The problem is it's very difficult to reach all of those people with one marketing message. And you can see this, even billion-dollar brands don't try to do that. You look at a automobile commercial. Look at a soda commercial. Look at a fast food commercial. These are billion-dollar brands, but they're calling out specific segments of the market. And the reason that they do that is because they know that they'll have a much higher success rate if they call out a specific segment of that marketplace. It doesn't mean that these people don't see it and say, hey, if it works for them, it could probably work for me too. And that's what happens. That when you're more specific, people can see that specificity and will say, hey, this could potentially work for me as well. Here's the other thing. These people that are being directly called out, they know right away, hey, this is something that's for me. And so that's what you want to do in your marketing. You want to call out the piece of the pie that you have the best chance of getting. So how do you do that? Well, it starts with identifying who your market is. And there's a couple of different markets, and this is where a lot of people get hung up. There are what we call vertical markets. And a vertical market, might be a doctor, a lawyer. It could also be, construction. Now these are all very broad. So if you are if one of these is your market, then you're going to want to break this down, like what kind of doctor, what kind of lawyer, what aspect of construction is your market. So you want to really dial this down to the narrowest but the deepest market that you can within that vertical. Now here's the thing, some of us don't work in vertical markets. That in my business, I work with businesses from a lot of different vertical markets. I work with nonprofits, I work with schools, I work with for-profit businesses in many different industries. And so what I've identified is I really have more of a horizontal market. And I was recently working with a fitness company, and that's really where they were at too. That they their target market wasn't a specific demographic or a specific vertical, but theirs was more horizontal, meaning there was people from many different verticals, but within that there are certain characteristics that they could identify that meant that they took a slice out of those vertical markets. So an example of this would be if you are a coach that works with marketing departments, or if you're a coach that works with CEOs, and even that might be a little bit broad. So you might say, I work with CEOs of businesses that are doing $5 to $10 million in revenue and work in e-commerce or something along those lines. So you're really taking a slice out of, and maybe it's many different vertical markets. You are identifying the characteristics that the types of people that you work with out of those different. All right, so I hope that makes a lot of sense. I hope you understand how important it is to be specific in your niche, in your market, in who you're targeting, and then also how to identify whether or not you're working with a vertical market or a horizontal market, and how to then choose your slice of that pie, recognizing that you can't market to everyone, but you can market to some of them. And that when you do that, you're going to be successful in that narrow niche that you've carved out for yourself, but you're also going to be able to attract other people who are going to see your messaging and say, hey, if it works in that market, it could probably work in mine as well. So I hope that makes sense, and I really wish you all the best and success.